Hello, my name is Suzanna Smith, and this PowerPoint presentation is on the topic of change management at the Springfield General Hospital involving managers. We have a number of different agenda items for this PowerPoint presentation, which includes the problem statement and solution, the change process, implementation of new technology, mutual engagement, distinguishing types of teams, motivation theories, training strategies, development of new behaviors, behavior to support strategies, conclusion, and questions and answers. The problem at hand involves the hospital Springfield General, which is a large urban teaching hospital. And it was determined that the overarching problem involves medication mistakes. After careful analysis, it was determined that prescribing errors was prevalent, confusion due to names of drugs occurred frequently, inadequate attention to synergistic effects was common, medication mistakes would routinely occur, errors leading to increased costs to the hospital was mounting, and there was dangerous adverse drug events that could potentially harm patients. After the hospital identified the issue, a solution was rolled out. This included implementing a computerized physician order entry system to resolve the problem. The goal was to ensure prescriptions for medicine would be inputted into the hospital's IT network. It was assumed that employees would have easy access to medical entries. Furthermore, it was expected that the software would help with detecting prescription errors to include incorrect doses, duplicates of requisitions, and adverse impacts of medication. However, the result was that adverse drug episodes actually increased. The staff who used the CPOE system determined it was not effective, and they communicated this to supervisors. Dosages were based on the pharmacy's warehousing and purchasing decisions. The information did not utilize clinical guidelines. Discontinuation failures were challenging. Too many complicated processes were observed. Canceling medication orders had ambiguities that were exacerbated by the computer interface and multiple screen delays. It actually had the opposite of streamlining the process and created many challenges that were hard to overcome. There are different steps connected to effective change management. Most organizations today are in a constant state of change as they respond to the fast-moving external business environment. This means that workplace processes, strategies, and technologies must continuously change and evolve for an organization to remain competitive. The first step is defining the change and aligning it to the goals. In this instance, the hospital has determined that the number of medication errors has increased and that this needs to be remedied so that patient care is maintained. The plan should also ensure stakeholders are identified so that it can be determined how they are impacted. A strong communication strategy must be in place to help with the exchange of information. Efficient training must be provided to staff so they feel comfortable with executing all elements of the change strategy. A strong support structure must be in place so that points of contact can be reached out to in the event there are questions. Lastly, the change process should be measured to determine if anything needs to be deviated and resolved. Implementation of new technology is a complex process. Companies must work from the ground up. What this means is properly evaluating the software to determine whether it's a good fit. In this instance, the software that was rolled out actually created more of issues for the company. This would suggest that proper evaluation did not occur. There should be a use of a framework that has a sense of urgency. Because medication errors impacts quality patient care, urgency is critical in this scenario. Goals should have the SMART framework, which means they should be specific, measurable, aspirational, realistic, and time-bound. There should be information provided so that teams are educated about the change management plan. Open communication should occur throughout the whole process. Product support should be made available, especially as this involves new technology. If something is not functioning correctly, staff members should have access to support so that it can be resolved. There should be a plan in place to address employee resistance. New technology is not a one-time event, it's a process. So the company must plan for every stage and be transparent as to why it is a tool that's needed. Once the benefits are clear to employees, there will be a higher likelihood of buy-in. Mutual engagement is important to change management and is a framework that focuses on interactions. Engagement involves uniting to address change, open communication to spark ideas and innovation. Effective partnerships are based on a mutual understanding of the goal. Consistency and co-creativity leads to responsiveness. Well-facilitated dialogue is a key element. Strong listening skills are key to collaboration. The diagnosis must have a systemic focus. It encourages an environment that overcomes silence. Group creativity is a fundamental of human activity. Mutual engagement participants are engaged with both the product at hand and with others in the collaboration process. Those who are engaged are in tune to the other contributors. In any form of change, you want people to become involved and proactively work on the process, as opposed to being resistant to the change. Mutual engagement creates employee buy-in and helps streamline the process so that it is implemented in a smoother manner. Teamwork is a critical component associated with change management. According to Kotter's dual operating system, teams develop the change management strategy and plans. They have an integral part of enabling project success. Teams work together to nurture and accelerate organizational changes. It's important to also minimize the top-down hierarchy, as this type of system prevents open communication from occurring. Guiding coalition is necessary. The change management team should be identified. Executive managers should be identified at the start, and so should supervisors and the project team. Executive leaders authorize the change and they act as project sponsors. Managers coach employees that impact the day-to-day operations. The support functions use their knowledge to drive the plan to achieve change. All stakeholders drive important changes, not just the usual few appointees. There were several different motivation theories that exist, which can demonstrate why employees behave a certain way. Motivation is a word that is derived from the Latin word movere. Motivation influences behaviors of people. It encourages employees to act, improves efficiency, achieves organizational objectives, builds a cohesive environment. It is important to understand the needs of employees. Employee recognition is important. There should be an inclusion of opportunities for employee achievement. Advancement in abilities and providing employees with meaningful and challenging work are all components that will help influence how someone is motivated. Training strategies are very important to the change management process. Training increases the likelihood of success that is brought on by change. It helps employees feel a sense of belonging. It results in promoting employee engagement. It also reduces associated fears that are the result of change. It provides support to teams so they can adjust to change. Employees feel fully educated on new expectations when they are trained properly. It helps employees understand new ways of completing tasks. It helps employees feel more secure in the change management process. Some elements that are connected to training strategies. An organization should have a really good, strong communication plan. For big changes, a simple email isn't going to work. It's important to think through the changes and convey the information clearly to employees. A leadership toolkit is necessary. Leaders set the mood for change, and everyone is going to look at them to gauge how they feel. An effective change management training program provides the tools for leadership as well. In order for change to be successful, new behaviors must be demonstrated. This includes properly conveying the problem and the opportunity due to the change management plan. It involves confronting reality and identifying the company culture. If something is amiss, it's important to address it so that it can be resolved. There needs to have a precedent set for new behaviors. That means that new behaviors should be role modeled, especially by upper management. There should be conversations that are encouraged about behaviors. There should be also suggestions provided to change habits, routines, and behaviors. All staff members and stakeholders should share lessons that are learned. There should be an environment that's created where truths are discussed. There should be direct and candid conversations, and there should be proper training and reinforcement. There is a psychological element that is associated with companies and work, and this type of element can transform the attitudes and behaviors of employees. It provides for positive reinforcement to employees, which will help encourage the change. In conclusion, there's transparency that is required in the change management process. Efficient research must be conducted to determine whether new software is beneficial. In this case, the new software that was rolled out was not beneficial to the hospital, and increased errors actually occurred. There should be an alignment with training and performance support. There should be open dialogue among staff to acquire feedback as to how change is occurring. Leaders are role models, and they must demonstrate the patterns of behavior for change. A collaboration should occur to provide a strong framework for change. Increased management surveillance is key to ensure change is actually occurring. And lastly, reinforcement of positive behavior is necessary to encourage staff to continue to change their behavior. Thank you very much and have a great day.